Welcome friends. In this video we are going to discuss a problem of CSI NET December 2019 problem of linear algebra. Example, let X be a finite dimensional inner product space over C. Let T X to capital X be a linear transformation, then which of the following statements are true? So we are given four statement. T is unitary implies T is self-adjoint. Second option, T is self-adjoint implies T is normal. Third option, T is unitary implies T is normal. Fourth option, T is normal implies T is unitary. So it is a property of matrices unitary, self-adjoint and normal. So first we recall these three basic property of matrices. Conjugate transpose of matrix A star is equal to A bar transpose. So first we have to take the conjugate of matrix and then take the transpose. That is called the A star, which is known as conjugate transpose of matrix. Self-adjoint or Hermitian matrix means A star is equal to A. Normal matrix means A into A star is equal to A star into A. And unitary matrix means A into A star equal to A star into A equal to identity. Now here we are going to discuss the matrix associated with the linear transformation. Now we'll check all the options one by one. So T is unitary implies T is self-adjoint. So we'll take some example. T equal to 1 by 2 1 plus I 1 minus I 1 minus I 1 plus I. So first we calculate T star, which is a transpose of conjugate. So first we find the conjugate of this matrix. So conjugate with 1 plus I is 1 minus I. Conjugate with 1 minus I is 1 plus I. 1 minus I is 1 plus I. And 1 plus I is 1 minus I. Now take the transpose of this matrix. We will get this number. Then we are going to calculate T into T star. So take the multiplication of T and T star. After the multiplication, we are able to get 1001, which is a identity. Now similarly, if you multiply T star with the T, which will give the identity. Therefore T into T star equal to T star into T equal to identity, and which is a definition of unitary matrix. So T is a unitary matrix, but T not equal to T star, we can see 1 plus I not equal to 1 minus I. So T equal to T star. Therefore T is unitary but not self-adjoint matrix. So option 1 is wrong, which says that if it is unitary, then it must be self-adjoint. Now we are going to check the second option. T is self-adjoint and T is normal. T is self-adjoint, therefore A equal to A star. Therefore A into A star equal to A into A, and A equal to A star, so A star into A. So A into A star is equal to A star into A, and which is the condition for the normal matrix. Therefore T is normal. So T is self-adjoint, then T will be normal matrix. So option number 2 is correct. Now option 3, T is unitary, therefore A into A star equal to A star into A equal to identity. This implies A into A star equal to A star into A, which is a part of the unitary matrix condition, and it is now condition of normal. So T is a normal matrix. If T is unitary, then T must be normal matrix. So option number 3 is correct. Now option number 4. We take some example. T equal to 5 plus I minus 2I to 4 plus 2I. So T star equal to conjugate T and its transpose. So take the conjugate 5 minus I minus 2I conjugate is plus 2I. 2 is a real number, so it will give the 2. And 4 plus 2I will be 4 minus 2I, and take its transpose. Then we have 5 minus I, 2, 2I, 4 minus 2I. Now if we take T into T star, then we'll have 36 minus 6I, 6 plus 6I and 24. Now T star into T will get the same matrix. So therefore T star into T equal to T into T star, but which is not equal to I. So T star into T equal to T into T star is a condition for the normal matrix. So it is a normal matrix. It is not equal to I, so it will not be unitary matrix. So T is normal but not unitary. But the option number 4 says that T is normal, then it must be unitary, which is wrong. So option number 4 is wrong. So we have two correct answer. First is T is self-adjoint, then it must be normal. And T is unitary, then it must be normal. Let T, Cn to Cn be a linear transformation and greater than or equal to 2. Suppose 1 is the eigenvalue of T. Which of the following statements are true? So option 1, T power k not equal to I for any k belongs to n. Second option, T minus I power n minus 1 equal to 0. Third option, T minus I power n equal to 0. Fourth option, T minus I power n plus 1 equal to 0. So we have given T is a linear transformation from Cn to Cn and 1 is only the eigenvalue of T. That means all the eigenvalues of T are 1. Now we check all the option one by one. First option, T power k not equal to I for any k belongs to n. If we take T equal to identity matrix, then all the eigenvalues of identity matrix are the 1. Therefore, if we take any power of T, that means I, will be I. So for all k belongs to n, T power k equal to I. So it satisfies the condition of the example which says that 1 is only the eigenvalue of T. So for the identity matrix, 1 is only the eigenvalue of T. And T power k equal to I for all k belongs to n. So option number 1 is wrong, which says that T power k not equal to I for any k belongs to n. So it's easiest way to check the first option. Now second option, if we take T equal to 1, 1, 0, 1. So eigenvalues of T are 1, 1. So all the eigenvalues of T are 1. So it satisfies this condition. Now T minus I power n minus 1. So n equal to 2. So T minus I. So T minus I is equal to subtract 1 from the diagonal entries. So 1 minus 1 0, 1 minus 1 0. So it is 0 0 0 and 1 here. So which is a non-zero matrix. So T minus I power n minus 1 which is not equal to 0. And option number 2 says that T minus I power n minus 1 equal to 0. So second option is also wrong. Now option number 3, 1 is only eigenvalue of T. Therefore all the eigenvalues of T minus I are 0 because 1 is eigenvalue of T. So 1 minus 1 equal to 0 will be the eigenvalue of T minus I, and all the eigenvalues of T minus I are 0. So all the eigenvalues are 0, therefore T minus I is a nilpotent matrix. And for the nilpotent matrix we have property T minus I power n equal to 0. If it is 0, then its one more power is also 0. So option number 3 and 4 are the correct answer. Example, let n greater than or equal to 1 and alpha beta belongs to R with alpha not equal to beta. Suppose an alpha beta equal to aij, an n cross n matrix such that aia equal to alpha, aij equal to beta for I not equal to j, 1 less than or equal to I, j less than or equal to n. Let dn be the determinant of an alpha beta such that the following statement are true. So we can fourth statement. First statement, dn equal to alpha minus beta dn minus 1 plus beta n greater than or equal to 2. Second option, dn divided by alpha minus beta power n minus 1 equal to dn minus 1 alpha minus beta power n minus 2 plus beta n greater than or equal to 2. Third option, dn equal to alpha plus n minus 1 beta power n minus 1 alpha minus beta for n greater than or equal to 2. Fourth option, dn equal to alpha plus n minus 1 beta into alpha minus beta power n minus 1 for n greater than or equal to 2. So it is a problem of matrix A and alpha beta, and the options is about the determinant of an which is called the dn. So first we understand the given matrix A and alpha beta which is aij, aia equal to alpha and aij equal to beta for I not equal to j. That means aia equal to alpha, a11 equal to alpha, A22 equal to alpha, ANN equal to alpha. Therefore, the diagonal values of this matrix is alpha and all the remaining values are the beta. So it is a given matrix AN. Now we are going to evaluate determinant Dn. Now to evaluate determinant Dn, we will use row operation and effect of row operation on the value of determinant that discussed in the suggested video. So if you want to learn that effect, you can just follow the suggested video. Now we apply the first row operation in which we add all the below row in the first row. That means in the first column alpha plus beta plus beta plus beta, and we have n minus 1 times beta, therefore alpha plus n minus 1 beta. Similar in the second column, beta plus alpha plus beta plus beta plus beta. In the same way, one value of alpha and the remaining value of beta, so n minus 1 beta. And for remaining all the columns, we will get the same value alpha plus n minus 1 into beta. So this row operation does not change the value of determinant. Now in the first row, every entry is alpha plus n minus 1 into beta, so it is a common factor, so take out from the determinant value. Then we have alpha plus n minus 1 into beta, and the first row has value 1 1 1 1. Then the next operation, we subtract first column from all the columns, and we have in the second column, if we subtract first column, then 1 minus 1 0, second entry alpha minus beta, third entry beta minus beta 0, and the similarly last entry beta minus beta 0. Then we will get in the second column 0 alpha minus beta 0 0 0 0. Similarly, if we subtract first column from the third column, then 1 minus 1 0, beta minus beta 0, alpha minus beta, then beta minus beta 0. So third value alpha minus beta, and similarly for the last column 0 0 0, and the last value is alpha minus beta. And this column operation also does not change the value of determinant. And here we have a triangular matrix, and the determinant value of triangular matrix is nothing but the multiplication of diagonal values. Therefore we have alpha plus n minus 1 into beta into alpha minus beta alpha minus beta alpha minus beta into 1. So alpha minus beta is up to n minus 1 times, so it is alpha minus beta power n minus 1. So final form of determinant Dn is alpha plus n minus 1 into beta alpha minus beta power n minus 1, and which is a option number 4. So option number 4 is correct. In the option number 3, we have Dn equal to alpha plus n minus 1 into beta power n minus 1 alpha minus beta, which is wrong because we have given power of alpha plus n minus 1 beta power n minus 1. So option number 3 is wrong. Now in the first and second option, relation between dn and dn minus 1. So dn minus 1, so replace n by n minus 1. So we have n minus 1, so n minus 2. So dn minus 1 equal to alpha plus n minus 2 beta into alpha minus beta power n minus 2. Now alpha minus beta into dn minus 1. So we have alpha plus n minus 2 beta, and if we multiply one more n alpha minus beta, we have alpha minus beta power n minus 1. And right hand side required to add plus beta, so we add beta. Then we have expression alpha plus n minus 2 beta alpha minus beta power n minus 1, which is not equal to alpha plus n minus 1 beta alpha minus beta power n minus 1, therefore which is not equal to dn, and hence this alpha minus beta dn minus 1 plus beta not equal to dn. So option number 1 is wrong. Now for option number 2, we divide both sides by alpha minus beta power n minus 1. Then we have dn divided by alpha minus beta power n minus 1 equal to alpha plus n minus 1 beta. Now dn minus 1 alpha plus n minus 2 beta alpha minus beta power n minus 2, divide both sides by alpha minus beta power n minus 2. Then we have dn minus 1 divided by alpha minus beta power n minus 2 equal to alpha plus n minus 2 beta. Now add beta to get the right hand side of the second option. So we add beta on the both sides, then alpha plus n minus 2 beta plus beta. So we have alpha plus n minus 1 beta, and which is equal to dn divided by alpha minus beta power n minus 1. So it satisfies the second option. Therefore second option is correct. So this way this example has two correct options, second and fourth. Example: let T R4 to R4 be a linear transformation with characteristic polynomial x minus 2 power 4 and minimal polynomial x minus 2 power 2. Jordan canonical form of T. We have again four matrices as the option. So it is a problem of finding Jordan canonical form of T using characteristic polynomial and minimal polynomial. So first we recall Jordan canonical form of any matrix A. If A is a matrix of order n cross n, then Jordan canonical form of A is also of order n cross n, and it can be expressed in the form of J1, J2, Jk, where J1, J2, Jk are called the Jordan blocks, which are of the form square matrices with the diagonal values same lambda 1, lambda 1, lambda 1, and the values below the diagonal are 1, 1, 1. Now similarly J2 is of order 2 cross 2, lambda 2, lambda 2, 1, and similarly for the other values of lambda, where lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda k are the eigenvalues of A. Now how can we find the Jordan canonical form using characteristic polynomial and minimal polynomial? That is our example. So suppose characteristic polynomial of any matrix A is x minus lambda 1 power a1, x minus lambda 2 power a2, x minus lambda r power ar, and minimal polynomial x minus lambda 1 power c1, x minus lambda 2 power c2, x minus lambda r power cr. Always remember c1 less than equal to a1, c2 less than equal to a2, cr less than equal to ar. Now for the order of Jordan block of any lambda I are d1, d2, dk with the condition d1 plus d2 plus dk equal to ai, where ai is a power of x minus lambda I in the characteristic polynomial, and highest value of dj is ci, where ci is a power of x minus lambda I in the minimal polynomial. Now in our example we have gained characteristic polynomial x minus 2 power 4 and minimal polynomial x minus 2 power here c1 equal to 2 and a1 equal to 4. So highest order of Jordan block for lambda equal to 2 is C1 equal to 2. Then the order of Jordan blocks for lambda equal to 2 are 1 should be maximum 2 and the sum of di should be 4. So first option is 2 plus 2 equal to 4. So we are able to get d1 plus d2, 2 plus 2 equal to a1 equal to 4. So in the first option we have two Jordan blocks of order 2, and the another possibility highest is 2, so remaining can be less than 2, so it may be 1, 1, 1. So we have another option for the di d1 plus d2 plus d3, 2 plus 1 plus 1 equal to 4. So in the second option we have three Jordan blocks, first of order 2, second of order 1, and third of order 1. So these are the different Jordan blocks with the option 1 and option 2. For option 1 we have two Jordan blocks of order 2, 2, 2, 1, and here 2, 2, 1. And we have first option in which we have the same Jordan blocks 221 and 221. And in the second option 211, so we have two Jordan blocks of order 1 and one Jordan blocks of order 2. So 22221, which is the option number 2. So option number 1 and option number 2 are the correct answer. Let A belongs to M3R and let X is equal to C belongs to GL3R. CAC inverse is triangular. Then we are given four options. First option, X not equal to 5. That means X not equal to empty set. Second option, if X is equal to empty set, then A is not diagonalizable over C. Third option, if X is equal to empty set, then A is diagonalizable over C. And fourth option, if X is equal to empty set, then A has no real eigenvalues. So in the data we have given GL3R. So first we have to understand what is GL3R. So GL3R is a set of 3 cross 3 invertible matrices over R. So C is a invertible matrices over R, and the set say that C is invertible and CAC inverse is triangular matrix. Now triangulation of matrix, any matrix is said to be triangulable matrix if it is similar to the diagonal matrix or upper triangular matrix or lower triangular matrix. Now Jordan normal form, which is in the triangular form. For the Jordan normal form, we have condition. Any square matrix A can be similar to the triangular matrix or Jordan normal form. J is equal to PAP inverse over the field F if the roots of its characteristic equation, that means eigenvalues of A, are in the field F. That means any matrix A is similar to the triangular matrix if its eigenvalues are in F. Now our F is real, so A is diagonalizable if its eigenvalues are real. So first option, which is about X not equal to empty set. That means for any A, we are able to see such that CAC inverse is triangular matrix and that C is the element of X. So for that, every matrix A has real eigenvalues. But it is not possible. We can find the matrix A which has complex eigenvalue. Just for example, A is equal to 1 0 0 0 0 minus 1 0 1 0. It is not triangular matrix. So it is not an element of X. Its characteristic equation determined A minus lambda equal to 0. So we have lambda minus 1 lambda square plus 1. So it has three eigenvalues 1 I minus I. So we have two complex eigenvalues. So its roots of characteristic equation or eigenvalues are not real. Therefore, we are not able to find C such that CAC inverse is triangular over R. Therefore, X is empty. So for this particular A, X will be empty set. And the first option said that X not equal to empty, which is wrong. Now option number 2, 3 and 4 we are going to check simultaneously, which is about X is empty set, then A is not diagonalizable over C. A is diagonalizable over C and A has no real eigenvalues. So A is 3 cross 3 matrix, therefore the characteristic equation is cubic equation. And we have given X is empty set. That means it does not have real roots. If it is a real roots, all the roots are real, then we can find C such that CAC inverse is triangular. But characteristic equation is cubic equation and it does not have real roots. That means it has three distinct roots in which one is real and other two are complex conjugate. Therefore, it has three distinct eigenvalues in C and therefore it is diagonalizable over C, which is the condition for the diagonalization. If it has three distinct eigenvalues, then 3 cross 3 matrix is diagonalizable. It has complex eigenvalues, so it is diagonalizable over C. So option number 2 says that it is not diagonalizable over C, which is wrong. Option number 3 says that X is equal to empty, then A is diagonalizable over C, which is correct. And option number 4 says that A has no real eigenvalue, but it is cubic equation and the complex values are is in the conjugate form. So it has two complex values. They are a complex conjugate and one is real. So one must be real. So option number 4 says that it has no real eigenvalues, which is wrong. Example number 77. Which of the following statement regarding quadratic forms in three variables are true? So again, fourth statement. Any two quadratic forms of rank 3 are isomorphic over R. Option number 2. Any two quadratic forms of rank 3 are isomorphic over C. Third statement. There are exactly three non-zero quadratic forms of rank less than equal to 3 up to isomorphism over C. And the fourth statement. There are exactly three non-zero quadratic forms rank 2 up to isomorphism over R and C. So it is a problem about the isomorphism of quadratic forms. So we have some result. So first result for the real quadratic form. So two quadratic forms, each in n variables, are isomorphic over R if and only if they have same rank and same index, or they have same rank and the same signature. But in the option 1 we have given only rank. We don't have anything about the signature or index. Therefore this statement is incomplete, and because of that we cannot say option 1 is correct, and so option 1 is wrong. Now for option number 2, which is about the isomorphism over complex field. So two quadratic form, each in n variables, isomorphic over C if and only if they have same rank. So your condition is only up to rank, and hence option number 2 is correct, because we are given any two quadratic form of rank 3 are isomorphic over C. Now option number 3, so it is about the rank less than equal to 3. So for less than equal to 3 we have three possibility for the rank: rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, and therefore we have three different isomorphism for rank 1, for rank 2 and rank 3. So option number 3 says that there are exactly three non-zero quadratic form rank less than equal to 3 up to isomorphism over C is correct. Now option number 4, with the similar argument we can say that it is wrong, which is about there are exactly three non-zero quadratic forms rank 2 up to isomorphism over R and C. Which of the following statements are true? So we are given four statement. First statement, any two quadratic forms of same rank in n variables over R are isomorphic. Any two quadratic forms of same rank in n variables over C are isomorphic. Third statement, any two quadratic forms in n variables over C are isomorphic. And the fourth statement, a quadratic form in 4 variables may be isomorphic to the quadratic form in 10 variables. So it is isomorphism of two quadratic forms over R and over C. So for that we recall some result associated with the isomorphism of two quadratic forms. So first result, two quadratic forms each in n variables are isomorphic over R if and only if they have same rank and same index, or same rank and same signature. So first statement, any two quadratic forms of same rank in n variables over R are isomorphic. It is an incomplete statement because it is don't say anything about the same index or same signature of two quadratic forms. Therefore it is an incomplete statement and it is incorrect. So option 1 is wrong. Now option 2, which is about the isomorphism of two quadratic form in complex field. So two quadratic form each in n variables are isomorphic over C if and only if they have the same rank. So it is a condition only about the same rank, and that is given in the statement 2. So statement 2 is a correct. Now option number 3 says that any two quadratic form in n variables over C are isomorphic. So we cannot say any two quadratic form are the same. Those quadratic form are same, they have the same rank. So the statement is incomplete. Option number 3 is wrong. Now option number 4, it is about the two quadratic forms. Four variables may be isomorphic to a quadratic form in 10 variables. So matrix associated with the quadratic forms in 4 variables. Suppose A is equal to identity matrix. Now we consider the matrix associated with the quadratic form in 10 variable, which is B is equal to I4. That means first 4 cos 4 entries are identity and the remaining entries are 0. So it is matrix associated with the quadratic form in 10 variables. So if we compare, then one can easily develop isomorphism between A and B. Therefore, the fourth statement, which is about the isomorphism between quadratic form in 4 variables and quadratic forms in 10 variables, is correct. Check the description and visit our website, which may help to you. Thanks for watching. For more videos, like, share, subscribe, press the bell icon of Next Gen Mess.